Here's what nobody told you about inflammation. Most people assume they'd know if they had it. A swollen joint, a nagging headache, a stiff lower back. So they wait. They wait until something hurts before they pay attention. And that's the trap, because the most destructive form of inflammation happening inside your body right now produces no symptoms at all. Zero. You can't feel it. It's operating at a microscopic level, deep inside your cells, right at the level of your DNA. And if it goes unaddressed for long enough, it doesn't just wear you down. It fundamentally alters how your genes function. Here's what most people have never been told. Chronic, low-grade inflammation doesn't just irritate tissue. It physically fractures DNA strands. It overwhelms the repair systems your body depends on to fix that damage. And it creates the precise conditions where abnormal cells stop being cleared out and start multiplying unchecked. But here's where this gets genuinely important, and this is the part I need you to hear. One of the most potent tools for interrupting this entire process has been sitting in your kitchen your whole life. You've cooked with it hundreds of times. You've probably pushed it to the side of your cutting board without thinking twice. And almost nobody is using it the right way. Before I reveal what it is, you need to understand something that most health discussions completely skip over. Because once you see this connection, you'll never look at inflammation the same way. Your DNA sustains damage every single day. That's not a disease. That's the cost of being alive. Every time a cell divides, every time you breathe in pollution, absorb ultraviolet light, or simply metabolize food, your DNA takes hits. Under healthy conditions, your body manages this beautifully. You have dedicated repair enzymes, proteins like OGG1 and APE1, whose sole purpose is to scan your genome around the clock, identify damage, and patch it before problems develop. Think of them as a tireless overnight maintenance crew, constantly inspecting, fixing, and reinforcing the structure. Now here's where chronic inflammation changes everything, and this is where things get serious. When inflammation stays elevated, even at levels so low you'd never notice, it floods your cells with reactive oxygen species. These are unstable molecules that rip through your DNA like sparks hitting dry wood. The damage builds up faster than your repair crew can handle. They fall behind, they start missing things, and those missed errors become mutations. Mutations left uncorrected long enough become the foundation of serious disease. This isn't theoretical, this is the established mechanism. Inflammation and DNA damage aren't separate issues. They're two sides of the same destructive loop. So the real question isn't just how do I reduce inflammation? The real question is, how do I reduce inflammation and give my DNA repair enzymes the support they need to function at their best at the same time? That is exactly what the food I'm about to show you does. Disclaimer: the information in this video is for educational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your diet or health routine. I'm a health researcher who has spent years studying what separates people who age with remarkable resilience from those who don't. And one pattern that keeps surfacing in the scientific literature, one that genuinely surprised me, points back to something extraordinarily simple. Not an expensive supplement, not some complicated protocol. A food, one specific food, prepared in a specific way that measurably activates your body's inflammation control pathways and DNA repair systems simultaneously. Let me show you exactly what it is, how it works, and the preparation mistake that causes most people to get virtually zero benefit from it. The food is garlic. And before you think you already know this story, you don't. Not the way the research actually describes it, because the garlic most people eat does almost nothing therapeutically. Garlic used correctly is an entirely different biological event. Garlic contains a family of organosulfur compounds. When these compounds are activated properly inside your body, they trigger responses that have been measured in controlled clinical trials. They directly suppress the molecular pathway that drives chronic inflammation and simultaneously switch on the genetic program your cells use to repair damaged DNA. This is not folk wisdom. This has been measured at the cellular level in peer-reviewed research using the same laboratory methods applied to pharmaceutical drugs. Let me walk you through exactly how this works inside your body. Allicin and the TNF-alpha shutdown. When you crush or chop a garlic clove, an enzyme called alliinase is released. It immediately converts a precursor compound called allicin into allicin, the active molecule responsible for garlic's pungent smell and most of its biological power. Allicin does something very specific and measurable. It inhibits NF-kappa B, that stands for nuclear factor kappa light chain enhancer of activated B cells. NF-kappa B is essentially the master control switch for inflammatory gene expression in your body. When it's chronically activated, which research suggests it is in many adults, particularly over age 40, it keeps your immune system running hot. It generates a constant stream of pro-inflammatory signals and creates the exact internal environment where DNA damage accelerates and repair slows down. Allicin essentially dials that switch down, not permanently, but consistently, meal after meal, day after day. And that consistency is what matters. S-Allylcysteine and DNA repair activation. Garlic also contains a compound called S-Allylcysteine, or SAC, which is especially concentrated in aged garlic extract. SAC activates the NRF2 pathway. Think of NRF2 as the supervisor of your DNA repair crew. When NRF2 is switched on, it signals the body to ramp up antioxidant defenses and increase production of the enzymes responsible for catching and correcting DNA strand breaks before they accumulate. This is the direct link between garlic consumption and DNA protection. It's not garlic making you feel healthier. It's garlic instructing your genome to defend itself more aggressively. Diallyl sulfide and the inflammatory marker drop. The third mechanism involves diallyl sulfide, another organosulfur compound found in garlic, which has been shown to reduce the output of IL-6 and TNF-alpha. These are two of the most closely tracked inflammatory markers in clinical medicine. Chronically elevated IL-6 and TNF-alpha are associated with accelerated cellular aging, suppressed immune surveillance, and critically, impaired DNA repair enzyme function. By lowering these two signals, garlic removes one of the key reasons your repair systems can't keep pace. This isn't based on a single study. The evidence on garlic's anti-inflammatory and DNA protective mechanisms has been replicated across multiple research institutions and populations. A comprehensive meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials published in the Journal of Nutrition found that garlic supplementation significantly reduced circulating levels of C-reactive protein, or CRP, the standard clinical marker for systemic inflammation. That's a meaningful reduction, comparable in magnitude to what some low-dose anti-inflammatory medications achieve, with no reported adverse side effects. Separate laboratory studies have used a technique called the COMET assay, which directly measures the integrity of individual DNA strands, and found that organosulfur compounds from garlic significantly reduced the frequency of DNA strand breaks in cells exposed to known damaging agents. Research on aged garlic extract specifically has demonstrated that consistent SAC intake produces measurable upregulation of antioxidant and repair-related enzyme activity through NRF2 activation. How to actually eat it? Here is what the research supports. 2 to 3 raw garlic cloves per day. This is the dosage range used in the majority of clinical trials, showing measurable anti-inflammatory effects. 1 clove appears insufficient. More than 4 doesn't seem to add meaningful additional benefit and may cause digestive discomfort. Crush or chop. Never use it whole. Allicin only forms when the cellular structure of the garlic is physically disrupted. A whole clove passing through your digestive system produces virtually no allicin. A crushed clove generates it immediately. The 10-minute rule. After you crush or chop the garlic, wait at least 10 minutes before cooking or eating it. This is arguably the single most important preparation step that almost nobody follows. Allicin needs roughly 10 minutes to fully form after the alliinase enzyme reaction begins. If you drop freshly crushed garlic straight into a hot pan, you're destroying the allicin before it's had the chance to develop. Let it sit on your cutting board. Those 10 minutes determine whether you're consuming a therapeutic food or just a flavor enhancer. Best timing: with lunch or your largest meal. The fat-soluble compounds in garlic are better absorbed in the presence of dietary fat. Adding crushed garlic to food that contains olive oil, avocado, or any healthy fat meaningfully improves how well your body absorbs those organosulfur compounds. If raw garlic isn't tolerable for you, aged garlic extract, specifically products standardized to SAC content, is the supplement form that research has shown preserves the DNA repair, activating compounds. Standard garlic powder does not appear to deliver the same benefits, the preparation mistake that eliminates most of the benefit. The most common error is dropping garlic directly into hot oil the instant it's chopped. This is how nearly every recipe tells you to cook. From a flavor standpoint, it works perfectly well. From a biological standpoint, you've just destroyed the primary active compound before it had the chance to form. Remember, Allicin needs 10 minutes after crushing to develop fully. High heat deactivates alliinase almost instantly. If that enzyme is neutralized before Allicin forms, the reaction simply never happens. You get taste. You get no therapeutic benefit. Crush it, wait 10 minutes, then cook. Or better yet, add it raw at the very end of cooking, where heat exposure is minimal. This single adjustment, the 10-minute window, is the difference between garlic as a condiment and garlic as a genuine functional food. Inflammation doesn't announce itself. It runs quietly, steadily, at a cellular level, damaging DNA, overwhelming repair systems, and slowly shifting the biological odds against you. Most people spend years managing symptoms while the underlying process continues unchecked. But your body hasn't given up. It has dedicated systems, enzymes, pathways, surveillance mechanisms that are still working, still repairing, still defending. They don't need an expensive intervention. They need the right nutritional signal: 2 crushed cloves, 10 minutes of patience, every day. That's the practice, remarkably simple for the impact it has at a cellular level. If this video helped you understand something about your health that you didn't know before, share it with someone who needs to hear it. That's all I ask. And if you haven't already, subscribe. New evidence-based content comes out every week. For deeper reading, I've covered the specific foods that support your body's cellular renewal systems and the one dietary pattern that research links to measurable reductions in visceral fat in adults over 50. Both are on this channel. I'll see you in the next one.